Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're here for our match week 4 predictions in the Championship. The game's coming thick and fast, what we love to see. If you go on to enjoy the video, drop a like and subscribe. Before we actually get into the video, something I'd like everyone to do if you have been enjoying my football content in the past year or however long you've been watching, I'll put a link in the description, click it. And if you enjoy my content, then vote for me for the best young content creator for the Football Content Awards. I'd really appreciate that. All you have to do is click the link, go to the section where it says best young content creator and type in my channel name, Tristan24. I would really appreciate that. And if you do, let me know in the comment section down below so I can thank you for that. Anyway, enough about me, let's get into this video on predicting match week 4 in the Championship. We start off on the Friday night game, Hull City hosting Bristol City. Hull, last time out, got a fantastic win away at Blackburn. For Bristol City, they did lose at home to Birmingham City, who are having a fantastic start to the season. In this one, I do think Hull are the stronger side. I'm going to back them for a 3-1 victory. It looks like Keenan Davis and Jaden Philogene will be joining the Tigers before the end of the transfer window. Can they get them done before this game? They'd be huge. But Scott Twine in that Hull side as well. It's massive. Hull could be a dark horse this season. I'm backing them to win on the Friday night. 3-1. Moving on to Birmingham hosting Plymouth. It's been a fantastic start for both of these sides to the new season. Of course, Plymouth did lose agonisingly late on against Southampton in the last one. Been really impressed with Plymouth though this season so far. And they come up against a blue side who have had a fantastic start to the season as well. They've drawn against Swansea and then they beat Leeds at St Andrews and they've just beaten Bristol City away. In this one, I've got to back the Blues for a narrow 2-1 victory. Wouldn't be too surprised if Plymouth did get a point out of this one though. Up next we go to Cardiff and they take on Sheffield Wednesday. Not been a great start for both of these sides this season. Cardiff have been scoring goals, but they just cannot defend late on in matches. For Sheffield Wednesday, they just cannot get results at the moment. Hopefully for their sake that changes. In this one, I'm backing Cardiff for a narrow 1-0 victory at home. Up next, we go to Coventry and they host Sunderland. Last weekend, Sunderland did get their first win of the new season. As for Coventry, I got to see them in action against my team, Swansea. I thought the loss of Gustavo Hamer was a bit obvious in that Coventry side. You can see there's a lack of quality in there. But if they replace him well, before the end of the season, before the end of the transfer window even, that'd be better. I think they'll have a really good season, Coventry. Going forward, they look like they were going to score basically every time. Defensively, they did look a little bit shaky at times. It's Latibodiere on the ball. Of course, last season I was a bit nervous with him at Swansea. I could see at Coventry on the weekend, he did look a bit shaky on the ball, but still a young centre-back for Coventry. In this one, I'm going to back Coventry for a 2-0 home win. Sunderland, I know they got the win last weekend, but they haven't been to the same levels as they finished last season on. Up next, we go to Huddersfield. The visitors are Norwich. Norwich won a win against Millwall last time out. As for Huddersfield, they got a good point against Middlesboro. Of course, Middlesbrough have had a slow start to the season, but a point against a side like Middlesbrough, who you expect to be up there every season really, is definitely a good point. In this one though, I can see Norwich getting the 3 points. Against Millwall, they were just fantastic. This one, Norwich to win 4-1. Next up we go to Portman Road for Ipswich taking on Leeds. Ipswich, brilliant start to the season for them. They've won every game they've played. As for Leeds, we sort of expected a bit more from them so far. Started a bit slow. They got a point against Cardiff, lost to Birmingham, and then got a point against West Brom last weekend. Although arguments could be made, they should have had all three. Of course, Thomas Asante's goal for West Brom come off his hand. Welcome back to the Championship, Leeds fans. Daniel James in that game though was fantastic. Got the assist for Aylin's goal and forced Palmer into a fantastic save late on in that one. Against Ipswich though, who have a good record against Leeds, and backing them for a 2-1 win at home in this one and continue their unbeaten start and their winning start. They've won every single game. Big test this weekend though. Off to the den next, it's Millwall taking on Stoke. Stoke, fantastic start to the season for them. That guy that scored the goal, I can't remember his name, but he looks to be a fantastic player for Stoke. Vidigal or something like that, along the lines of that. Big win against Watford. Stoke so far this season starting fairly well. Coming up against the Millwall side who got off to a good start on the opening day against Middlesboro. Since then have fallen off against Norwich last weekend most recently. In this one, I can see both sides getting something. Can't see any goals. 0-0 in this one. Off to Deepdale next, it's Preston hosting my side Swansea. Last season we had two fantastic games against Preston. Of course we lost the one at Deepdale. We haven't got the best records away there. But in the home game it all kicked off. Of course Joe Allen and Ryan Lowe ended up getting sent off. It was a 4-2 Swans win. Don't think it'll be as many goals in this one this time, but I do feel confident that the Swans can get the win here. I'm going for a 1-0 Swans. Preston have surprised me this season though to begin. I thought they would struggle. They've started off well. Could see this one ending either as a 0-0 or 1-1. All slightly going one side's way. I'm backing the Swans though for the 3 points. Off to the New York Stadium next is Rotherham hosting Leicester City. Leicester just continuing to grind out the wins. As for Rotherham, not being a fantastic start to the season for them. They do seem like they're struggling a little bit. In this one though, I'm backing the Foxes. 3-1. Moving on to Southampton taking on QPR. I think this will be a really interesting game. I do though think Russell Martin's men will come out on top, of course. Fantastic squad. It looks like Che Adams potentially departing, as well as Nathan Taylor, but not to Burnley. That's an interesting one. So still ages to go in terms of transfers in this window. For QPR, they've been linked with a few more players. The likes of Elias Chair and Willock still being linked out of the door. And Armstrong, Sinclair Armstrong, isn't it? I think he's going to have a fantastic season. So close not to score against Ipswich last weekend. QPR, by the way, I think they'll do a little bit better than what people are saying. It seems to be coming together now. In this one though, I think they'll see defeat to a very good and strong Southampton side. 3-1 to the Saints. Off to West Brom next, it's the Baggies hosting Middlesboro. Not a great start to the season for Middlesbrough as we touched on earlier. For West Brom though, fairly decent for them, it has to be said. Of course they got the win against my team Swansea, then they got a controversial point against Leeds last week. In this one, I think Middlesbrough will start to kick off their season now. I hope so anyway for their sake, because so far they've been very under par. In this one, it's going to be a 2-2 draw at the Hawthorns, an entertaining one. And we finish off at Vicarage Road for Watford against Blackburn. I can see a few goals in this one. Watford this season so far have impressed me, I think it's fair to say. I didn't think they'd be doing as good as they are, albeit it is fairly early on in the season. Blackburn, they sort of fell apart in that game against Hull. Of course, not what you would like to be seeing, but for me, Blackburn always a strong side. But in this one, they'll see another defeat. Back-to-back defeats for Blackburn for the first time this season. And I think Watford will get a win, bouncing back from their defeat to Stoke in a 3-1 victory at home. Well then guys, hopefully you've all enjoyed this video. If you have, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. Premier League predictions will be out on the channel after this video as well. Be sure to vote for me for the Football Content Awards if you enjoy my content. If not, I know there's quite a lot of people going for that category, so completely understand, but I would really appreciate if you did end up voting for me. With all that being said, I'll see you in the next one very soon, guys. Comment your predictions. Of course, I've been updating you guys on the community tab for the prediction league and after every match week. I'll see you in the next one very soon, guys. Take care. Goodbye.